Guys, welcome back to part 2 of our tank game that we're going to be making. And I have just decided that we are going to make this a split screen game. Well, not the whole game, but there's going to be a section that is split screen. So what we're going to have to do about that is we're going to have to change our tank movement script a little bit. We're going to add a variable, and this variable is going to be called player. And actually we'll do player number. And by default we're going to have it be 1. So we can get rid of this debug because we already know, we talked about that. And we're going to do if player number 1 do this set of things. And we're going to change these. Instead of vertical, we're going to do P1 vertical. And we're going to do P1 horizontal. And also P1. And we're going to change jump to shoot. So there we have that. And we're going to just copy all this and duplicate it and change this number to 2. And then just change all of these. And we can't use var bullet twice in a script, so we can just change this to bullet 1 and make sure you change that to bullet 1. Otherwise everything will be the exact same. Next we're going to go into our assets, edit, project settings, input, and in our expector, bring this over a bit. We're going to change horizontal to P1 horizontal. And vertical, we're going to change this to P1 vertical. Whoops. Next, we're going to change our positive and negative buttons. For player 1, normally it is the left side of the keyboard. So our positive button is going to be, for horizontal, is D, and our negative is A. We're not going to have any alternates. That's the ones you're going to have to use. And that is all for P1 horizontal. P1 vertical, we're going to have the vertical be W and S. Oops, W, S. And then there's not going to be any alternate. You can set alternate. It's your game. Do what you want. But I am not. We're going to change this. We're going to go down to jump. And we're going to change this to P1 shoot. And our positive button will be left shift. So that way, yeah, I think that's going to be the most natural. And then up here on our axes, we're going to create 3 more axes. So just add, put that to 20. P1 shoot, we'll change to P2 shoot, and we're going to make the player 2 use the right shift. And you can change it to however you want, but that's what I'm going to use. And then horizontal, not horizontal, horizontal, and this is going to be right and left arrow. So positive would be right arrow. I think it's right arrow. We'll find out. Nope, it is not right arrow. Well, that's just fine and dandy, isn't it? What is it? Here, I'll be 1 second, please. Alright, so it's, I believe, it's just simply right and left. Easy enough, I guess. That's horizontal, and then change this to P2 vertical. And change this to up, down. So there we have it. So if we go ahead and save this, and we'll go and click our tank. So if we go in here and play it, right now it is on player 1 control, so I'm using WSD. I'm trying to use other buttons, not working. Shift shoots, good. We'll just change this to player 2. And if I go over here, now I'm using the arrow keys, WSD keys don't work, and shift shoots for that. Perfect. So now, if we just duplicate this tank, move it over, change one of them to player 2. Now we have 1 and we have 2. Perfect. And as you can see, our cameras are only following 1. So what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate the camera, and this camera is following that tank, so this camera is going to be following this tank. And then on our camera, we're just going to do, what's this? This is for tank 1, so we'll call this player 1 camera, and this one player 2 camera. Next, what we're going to do is this normalized viewport. Our width and our height's going to be 0.5. And we have to get rid of one of these audio listeners. And this is going to be 0.5. And this is going to be 0.5. I believe. Does this work? Yes, it does. So now, as you can see, the upper one, I'm using player 1 controls right now, and now I'm using player 2 controls, and they're controlling the bottom. So we have kind of a split screen going on here, which is pretty cool. So next, we're going to have to make these tanks destroy each other. Right now, they kind of they just push each other. It's not what we want. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to add a function collision script, which should be easy enough if I just remember the collision script code. We're just going to steal this, paste this in here. So on collision, enter the collision. We're going to this is the variable, and the variable we're defining as a collision. The collision.gameObject.name. So if the name of that game object is bullet, we want to take health and minus it by 1. Up here, we're going to decline a variable, and it's going to equal 10. So 10 hits and you're dead, pretty much. Next, down here, we're going to change these. So bullet dot gameObject dot name equals bullet. So that way our collision will actually work. So there we go. There we have that. Got this. Next, what we're going to do is, if we go ahead and go play this. So if I look at, I think this is player 1 tank. So if I take player 2 tank and shoot him, as you can see, our health goes down. But as you notice, the bullet kind of just bounces off them. Well, we want the bullet to disappear. So we're going to make another script, and we're going to call this script bullet. And if I named it right, we'd save time. Go ahead, open this up, copy this function over, and we don't need any of that madness. And then we're just going to do, if it collides with anything, we're going to destroy game object. See how that works? Alright, so attach that to the bullet. Go ahead and play it. So now if I shoot anything, as you can see, our bullet is disappearing, which is exactly what we want. And I got sticky keys, what do you know? But as you can see, it is still pushing the game object. Well, we don't want it to push it. So there's several ways to do this. I believe I am just going to take bullet. I am going to take mass, put it to nothing, and that way when it collides it has pretty much no energy, so the effects are, you can't even tell. So that's the way I'm going to do it. as you can see, shift keys are being a problem. So let's go change those. Let's go edit project settings input. We're going to change them to player 1 can use space. If I could actually see them. Is going to use space. And player 2, let me see if I put my hand here. On my keyboard, we'll just make them use L. On my keyboard, that's kind of the easiest one, so let's just test them out. L and spacebar. So there we go. It's kind of hard to play both of the players at the exact same time, but alright, so we have a game, kind of. You can shoot each other, and each tank has health. We'll go ahead and add, oops, so as you can see, his health is almost dead. Now he's dead. But as you can see, he doesn't disappear, so we'll just go into our tank, copy this code because we're going to use it in a second, and update, and we're going to do if health is less than or equal to 0, we want you to destroy game object. Simple enough. So now if I go ahead and shoot player 2 extra times, there, he's dead. This is going to be it for part 2 of our game tutorial. I'm going to try to keep these at 12-13 minute segments, not run them too long. So that is that. So we're going to do, this is our split game tutorial. Next we'll probably add some more, I wouldn't say effects, but I think some menus maybe. And probably we'll make a better arena for these two to battle it off. So and we might have to put our barrel colliders back on because, well, we're kind of going right through the barrels, as you can see here. We'll have to have some limits because right now they can just drive off the map, and that's not really what we want. So that's going to be for part 3. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned to this playlist.